You can support the Dungeon Masters Dojo in some very simple ways. Be patronizing, like Lou, and become a patron on Patreon and unlock exclusive patron content.
Or if you're like Scott and long-term commitment is an issue, you can buy a Sasaki, shop our merch page for DMD swag, or use our Drive-Thru RPG affiliate link next time you shop Drive-Thru RPG.
Or visit us on the web at thedungeonmastersdojo.com. There, you'll find links to all the above. Don't forget to email us and say hello.
Thanks for listening.
I'm ready now. You're an asshole. Like of Titanic proportions. You guys take it easy on Lou. They don't hear, since Lou edits, they don't hear like the torment.
They don't. He cuts it all out.
Yeah.
He just leaves your bits in, so you sound
so
sound like
oh, now I'm the bad guy.
A demonstrative ass.
Now I'm Amber fucking Heard, right? Now I'm Amber Heard.
No, you're not, because you don't look like her.
He's Johnny Depp. He's like, I'm just minding my own business. And Scott's being mean to me.
Are you ready to start, sir?
I'm ready.
This is all staying, just so you know.
That's our teaser this week.
Why drink?
Yeah, you killed yours.
I'm going to stick with juice today.
Okay. Yeah, probably. You need to detox. Okay. Shall we start?
That's why Lewis has a liver the size of a football.
3, 2,
Got
1.
that fatty liver. Like,
We're trying to make a podcast here.
Like John Goodman, if he was a liver. It's sitting up in Lou. Can't handle all this booze. All right. What are you waiting for? Let's go.
This week, we're traveling the multiverse.
It's our look at Mordenkainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse. This week on the Dungeon Masters Dojo.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Dungeon Masters Dojo podcast. This is a show for game masters and players alike. We hope to bring you tips and tricks to elevate your game and develop the art of dungeon mastery. I'm your host, Louis Aponte, and these are your dungeon masters, Scott Labby and Bill Robitaille. Let's enter the dojo and see what they have in store for us today.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Excellent, Lou. And how about yourself?
I'm a little tired today.
How was your weekend?
A little bit of, I took a beating.
Did you? Did you?
Yeah.
Hi, Lou.
Oh, I didn't see you over there.
How? You've been testing me all day.
Hi, Scott.
Hi, Bill.
I missed you, buddy.
I missed you, too. I was missing Lou for a while there.
You get over it real fast.
Yeah,
You still missed me.
barely.
But you still do, see?
He needs to just work on his aim, that's all. I'll take you to the range.
Monsters of the Multiverse.
Yeah, we're a little late to the game.
A bit.
But
We were doing other things.
Well, I think it's also the way they put this out, too. They sent it out in the bundle first, and I wasn't buying a bundle.
No. Yeah,
neither was I.
The money grab is bad enough when they're churning stuff out on the treadmill left and right, but to throw it into a bundle so you had to get it and buy books you already had. I'm sorry, not for nothing, but I think it's a kind of a dick move.
It was. I mean, granted.
Shame on you.
Yes, I know. There was
TSR
some
wouldn't have done that.
There were some changes in the books, but I don't care about those changes.
Yeah, I don't either.
I didn't like them.
It's great if you're getting into the game and you're like, oh, man, look at this. There's a bundle right here. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to get the new book. But
small percentage.
yeah, we've been doing this for a while and have all those other books. It just didn't make sense.
Not to us.
Not to us, anyway.
Nope.
I don't have enough time to read the books that I already got, let alone like reading them again. So I'm running out of room on the bookshelf. But I like Mordenkainen Presents, and I'm surprised. Look, I'm kind of been a bitchy old man lately about the D&D books, but the minute my eyes befell the epic fantasy looking cover, I was like, all right, there we go. And now I have some like, this is like fantasy. You got Ming the Merciless riding on that unicorn with the Chris knife looking horn with all the Fu Manchu, Kung Fu master like facial hair, and I'm like, yeah. I like the Vulcan unicorn.
Was it a Kyrin?
A Kyrin, yeah.
Okay. For those that don't have the book, they're going, what the F is
Vulcan
he talking
unicorn.
about?
And
A Vulcan ninja unicorn?
yeah, I mean, come on.
Which sounds pretty cool all by itself.
That is now, if you go all the way back to AD&D, the Kyrin did not look as badass or epic.
It did not.
This is a sick looking Kyrin. This is like badass.
I went through the book. I didn't say I read it all the way through, but I did go through it kind of thoroughly. The artwork in this book, I like.
Yes.
They did a phenomenal job with the artwork in this. Now, I'm a little prejudiced. I like monsters more than I do like characters. So I enjoy.
It's not going to surprise anybody.
I do enjoy a good depiction of a monster, and they've done a very, very good job in here.
Yeah, they have. I love the artwork. I'm a big artwork person. Part of what I really found attractive about 2nd and 2.5 was Larry Elmore's artwork and Jim Easley's artwork.
Yes.
Huge fan. And even the old basic set in Expert had some really great like comic book artist style artwork in it that I really, really enjoyed, particularly the colored pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Those were like really cool. There was just something about them that I really like. So artwork really does it for me, for my imagination, conjuring up the world of D&D, the worlds of D&D. And I hope they're faithful to a lot of those monsters in the D&D movie, because I would just love to see those kind of come to life. I'm cautiously optimistic about the movie.
We'll see.
It's got Chris Pine in it, so they're paying fan service to the wives, of people our age, who are like, I don't want to go see your stupid movie. Why won't you go with Bill and Lewis? They like that dumb stuff. But I could say Chris Pine's in it. Maybe he'll be doing push-ups or shirtless or both. And then, boom.
Maybe he'll, there'll be some kind of scene where he's got his arm wrapped around the waist of some voluptuous woman and whispering sweet nothings in her ear. And, if you want to imagine it's you, I'm, it's okay. And whatever it takes to get him to go.
Yeah.
In my case, she has like the pay monthly kind of thing, get free tickets. I get to go for free. So
yeah, we have
I almost have to take her.
We have that thing too. I don't know. I still may end up going with you guys.
Well, if it's good, more than one viewing will definitely be in order. It
can't be any worse than the one with Jeremy Irons and that bald guy that wore lipstick. Look at if you haven't seen the Dungeons and Dragons movie, the first one, you'll know. Go watch it. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The high point was Jeremy Irons, who I love, and Tom Baker, not as Doctor Who, but as like King of the Elves, which is something I would never have imagined, but that's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get my hands on the third one that was out in the UK. The Book of the Damned.
The direct-to-video ones were light years better than the one that went to the movie theater. I went and saw that on opening day in Hadley. It was mobbed, and I had to sit in the front row. We're like 3 rows from the front row, and I sat there with my head back the whole time so I could see what was going on, and walked out with a sore neck and pissed.
Because they didn't have recliners back then either.
They didn't. The struggle was real back in our day. We couldn't.
We were lucky if the seats were padded.
Yeah, you couldn't go online and prearrange your tickets, and
you showed up in line and you weren't assigned seats. You got on there and you sat where you want. First come, first serve.
Now, before we get going, because we always seem to like
digress.
Yeah, but if you've ever done like any sort of like nerdy thing with a bunch of other nerdy people, like a convention or whatever have you, or waited in line for tickets or for the newest expansion of World of Warcraft before like all these modern conveniences happened, you have no idea what it's like, right? Because you stand in these lines.
Yep.
And it's like all you smell is fart and BO when you have that many like nerds together. It's the same thing at conventions.
And 3-year-old stale Funyuns and Cheetos.
And it's not easy.
And
not like it is today.
And the lines were long. You usually sat out there for a while.
People had lawn chairs.
And the only attraction was like, dude, count 35 people up. There's a girl.
A girl?
Holy, she doesn't look happy, but man, I can't believe he talked her into coming.
Yeah, wow. Girls come to this stuff? That was back when girls didn't do stuff like this.
No.
Now girls are like all over, like everywhere you go.
Equal share.
Which is nice because
I feel gypped.
Oh, I was robbed. Totally robbed. Because it's the kiss of death when you tell a girl, "Oh yeah, I play D&D." They're like, "What? You're one of those like weird?" Yeah, I'm one of those weird people. But yeah, back then it was anyway.
Yeah, and then she tells her friends who tell their friends, and
yeah,
you know, you let it slip once, and the next 171 women,
yeah, and then you
won't even make eye contact. Yeah, oh God, he's looking at me.
Really need to go get that girlfriend in Canada and not just lie to your friends about it. All right, Mordenkainen. Mordenkainen brings us another book, Monsters of the Multiverse. And I like that. I love the. I know there's a lot of hate for it because people are like, I already bought all these monsters. You know, you're ripping me off. But I hate going through a shitload of books to try to find that one monster that I remember being in a book, but don't remember what book it is to find that monster. And of course, first place I go is always the monster manual, right? But it's never there. It's always in some. It's in a campaign. It's in one of these other like supplemental publications. It's never easy to find. But when they do stuff like this, and they do a book like Mordenkainen Presents, Monsters of the Multiverse, then now all these. This is like a secondary monster manual.
Yeah,
and I like that. It's convenient. I know I can look in the monster manual. Now I can look in Mordenkainen's.
You're more likely to find it a little quicker.
Yes, and I'm impatient in my old age.
What? Always been impatient.
I'm more impatient in my old age than I was before.
Whereas I have the patience of Job. I can outwait a rock.
Who told you that?
The Rock.
The Rock.
Everyone else seems to disagree just a bit.
So I do like this compilation. I've always enjoyed Monster Manual 2, you know, all that.
Lou does not.
Lou does not. Lou.
He's making faces and fidgeting because he wants to diss this book.
No, well.
He's got a face like someone just made him a peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwich. And
or dropped an SBD in the elevator and they're all looking at him.
Yep. Yeah. The elevator at the convention.
That's only when you two are in there.
They always look at the biggest guy. I'm safe.
Scott? Not so safe.
So what don't you like?
I don't like the way they changed some of the races, like the Kobold.
Yeah, I did notice that.
They took away his draconic roar.
They did. They gave him the sensitivity to light back.
Yep.
I did not like that.
The other thing I guess it all depends. With this book, it really depends. If you have any of the books, then you're not going to, if you don't use the some of the things that are presented in the book, because like the monsters now, that it reminds me of innate abilities.
Yeah.
Because they don't call them spellcasters anymore. They don't cast.
Correct.
They just shoot them off. So what that actually does is it actually makes a couple of our spellcaster spells worthless, like counterspell. You can no longer counterspell those.
Because it's not a spell.
Because it's not a spell. So you just killed, a good lot. And that's just one of the spells that I found. There's a couple others that are worthless now.
Yeah.
So you as a wizard or a mage, if you're using this book, don't bother.
You're relegated to fireballing everything.
Yes.
Do you think they're prepping for like a 5.5,
Exactly.
6?
Yes.
And that's what they're doing.
And
They're making that.
That
move
was my
towards that.
feel for this too.
And that's
for
what
the
I got,
changes
yeah.
that I see. Now I didn't go in quite as in depth as you, but I said, okay, they're prepping for something. They're also prepping. I think you're going to see something come out from the Underdark.
Yep.
If it isn't out there already, I don't have my pulse on it like you do, Lou. But you can see in this book, the Underdark races have been expanded.
Yes.
There's six pages on the Drow. There's 4 pages on the Dwagar. There's 4 pages on the Deep Gnome. I mean, they really blew up all the deep races, and it's like, okay, they're prepping something that's going to be one of the next things.
So exactly my thought. My thought was more because we haven't seen innate abilities
for a long time.
At least I didn't try 3 and 4, so I haven't seen innate abilities since 2 and 2.5.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are.
And those were holdover from the advanced.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about these changes to the kobolds and what you don't like about them and why.
Why would you take away one of their greatest class features, the Draconic Roar?
Yeah, that's one thing that I really liked that they did with the kobold.
It gave them meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of kobolds were always, I mean, let's face it, the only reason kobolds as a species have survived is because there's a ton of them.
Yeah,
right.
You need something for your warriors to beat up on.
Right. They breed like wildfire. But they're easy to kill, so there's nothing. They're just cannon fodder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But with the Draconic Roar, it makes them more than.
It makes them a more viable race.
It does more than little teeny weeny dragons.
Well, yeah, it links them to the dragons. It's like, okay, I may not be a dragonborn, I may not be a dragonkin, but don't mistake, I am a dragon.
Well, it's just like when you did when we were playing the Acorns Journey. You were playing a kobold,
correct?
And you used your Draconic Roar, which brought life to your character.
Yes.
Now, if you didn't have that, you'd just be another swinging.
Yeah, I'd just be another meat cleaver.
Yeah.
With a pair of sunglasses.
With a pair of sunglasses. Yeah.
Squinting a lot.
Yeah. Well, I have a wide brim hat. I'm good. Yeah, you're right. And I don't like the fact that they gave him the sensitivity to light back. Right. That's a holdover from the original first incarnation of it, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
They don't dwell underground.
No, so like that nerf I thought was senseless. Now the nerf to like the Aarakocra and the Yuan-Ti I thought were very much in line.
I have to agree with you there because I did notice those as well.
Yeah,
with the reduction of flight speed, right?
Yes.
You're talking about with the Aarakocra.
No, so now they were at a 50. Now they're at a 30 or 40. I
think
remember.
I think it's a 40.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let me open the book. Aarakocra is the very first one listed.
Yeah. So that brings in that I can see. The Yuan-Ti, which now they brought it in line, so it is almost league compliant because it doesn't have all those resistances anymore, like full magic resistance in some cases.
Aarakocra's flight speed is equal to his walking speed, which is 30 feet.
Yep.
So, yeah, they nerfed him quite a bit, and they probably did the same on the other.
Yeah, and I don't know if that makes sense either. When I think about it, it's like, okay, I mean, for game mechanics, yeah, I get it, but your walking speed depends on a lot of different things. I think it depends on, having to maneuver around other things, other people, terrain, landmarks, that sort of thing, walking upstairs, whatever have you. There's not a lot you have to maneuver around other than air currents if you're a flyer.
Yeah, so if I'm going to play a flyer now, I'm going to play an Owlkin because they have a lot more benefits now.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Because now they just, the fly speed is the same, but I can think up to medium armor and I'm silent.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas at least he had the speed behind him.
Right.
Yeah.
So taking that away, I mean, I understand it.
That
was kind of, still.
But they could have fallen somewhere in the middle.
Exactly.
A 35, a 40, tweak it all a bit. I mean, because I'm sorry, I'm going to go into a power dive. Okay, you're falling at the same rate that this guy's walking across the ground.
Exactly.
It didn't make sense. And I think in a homebrew world, I don't think I'd give him the anything more than a 35 or 40.
Right. Yeah, and that's
or on a flat plane, give them 30 because of their size and weight. But in a dive, I'd let them go up to 40 on a dive.
Yep.
But you need to you need to get your elevation first.
Yep. And see, when you do stuff like that, now you give them that race meaning again.
Yeah.
Yep.
You give them something that no one else has. And let's say they're doing a fantastic job of homogenizing everything. So pretty soon, you're just going to be playing character A, B, or C.
Yep.
And this one has a little bit of magic, more arcane magic. This one has a little bit more divine magic. And this one hits a little bit harder. And that's what they're eventually going to end up at.
You're going to have your human, elf, and dwarf.
Yeah. And they're going to look almost the same, and they're going to act almost the same. They're going to have the same traits and same skills, because I think they're trying to please too many people by saying, well, anyone can be anything, which is all great, but I'm sorry, but if you are inherently 3 feet tall, you are not going to be a long jumper.
Right.
Okay? It just isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But oh no, we're going to give him abilities so he can. Why? Stop.
I think in the effort to be inclusive, and they do a disservice to the different. See, they're treating them like races, and they're not. They're species, right?
Yeah.
Species have unique aspects to them, which makes for a rich D&D environment, right?
Well, the blending of cultures,
right,
based on species.
Yeah, so you have a D&D from the time it was created was a very diverse environment.
Yes,
because of the different species that lived in like the D&D world. So let's not lose sight of that, right? I mean, the fact that the game has a multitude of different species, from elves, dwarves, gnomes, halflings, I totally lost the hippopotamus guy's names.
Githyanki?
Githyanki.
Gifts?
No, Gifts.
Yeah. Githyanki's not the same thing. Yeah, Gif.
That's different, but still Spelljammer.
Yeah.
It's been a naturally diverse environment. The players have not been diverse, but the environment has been diverse.
Correct.
Now we have both, right? We have diversity amongst the players, which is a wonderful thing to see. We still have that diversity in the D&D world or worlds, whichever ones you're playing in. But when you homogenize like this, you lose wonderful opportunities for role-playing and to flavor your game, right? Can you imagine going to an Aarakocra city? What would that look like? Not a bunch of birds' nests up on, power lines, but probably up on a mountain, vast networks of
There wouldn't be a lot of stairs.
tunnels. Yeah, there'd probably be no stairs.
At least
You
not
would
from
have
the
to
ground
fly
level.
there.
Yeah, you have to go up
Right.
40 feet. Maybe once you're up 40, 50 feet, that's different. To get from one room to, I mean, you're not going to fly from one room to the other. There would definitely be stairs, but not from the ground level.
Right. So, and what would their culture look like? And so you lose good storytelling opportunities when you homogenize. And I certainly hope this isn't what they're doing, but from what I've seen, it seems like they're moving it to that place where it's everybody's equal and everybody's the same. And no, I don't want everybody to be the same. I want everybody to be different. I want all these different cultures to be different from one another, because it adds for wonderful storytelling elements.
Yes.
I want their innate abilities to be different, because that's what makes them unique as a species. And that lends to a great deal with storytelling, with the campaign, with interacting with other player characters. It's a terrible shame, and I certainly hope they don't do this.
Well, they seem to be doing it, and it gets to the point where, in the name of inclusiveness, they're giving everyone else's abilities, to the point where if everyone's special, no one's special.
Yep.
And I think that's where it's going, and I'm sad to see that.
Yeah, when everybody could do the same thing, no one is special at all.
Right.
There's nothing unique about you. You're just
You're basically you're wearing a shell.
Yep, different shades.
So you might as well jump into an MMO and just change your skin from one species to the next. Nothing else changes. just your skin, and that seems to be the way they're going. Once again, they're heading towards the world of MMO. Someone walk down to the programmers and line up all the 21 years old and slap them in the back of the head and tell them knock the shit off.
Let's take a moment to talk about our sponsor.
You're a new DM who wants to jump behind the screen. Maybe you've been volunteered by your gaming group but aren't quite ready. You've been watching people play games online or on podcasts, and you're thinking to yourself, where do they come up with all that descriptive narrative? There's no way I can do that. Well, don't worry. We've got a solution for you. What if I were to tell you that I can put a team of professional writers alongside you at your desk while you're prepping your game? Sounds pretty good, huh? With Describe, we can do just that. These narratives vividly describe monsters, places, spells, people, you name it. It's there, and there are more than 6,000 of these easy-to-search up, copy, and pastable, beautifully written narratives right at your fingertips. Confidently read these narratives aloud in your campaign and impress noob and veteran gamer alike. And the best thing about it is, the library of narratives is constantly growing, and it's affordable. Describe has graciously provided us with a discount for our listeners. Head on over to describe.com/DMD. That's DSCRYB.com/DMD. Use the code DMD at checkout to try Describe for 2 weeks for free. Links will be in the show notes.
And now, back to the show.
At least that's how I'd do it. But then again, I'm old and don't care what anyone
thinks. You can't do that
thinks.
at work anymore.
What?
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
Yeah. You can't.
I was told that by HR.
Yeah. And they're right. You can't.
I slapped him.
That's it. In the back of the head.
In the back of the head.
So that's my rant on that.
Back to Mordenkaines.
We commented on how cute the grung were.
Yes. Lou was playing a grung for Acorn's Journey, and his grung is nowhere near as cute as the ones in the book.
No, I tried to make him as cute as I could on the mini, and he's still fuck ugly. But
there's no mistaking he's a grung.
No, there's not. He's just not as cute.
He's not an adorable grung.
Those are some cute grung. Like I would buy grung action figures just to like hold on to him and
all the 11 to 14-year-old girls go, oh, yes. Look at the grung.
Yep, I want a plush one. I don't blame them. I'd get a plush grung. They're cute as hell.
They're adorable.
Yep, they'll poison the shit out of you if you try to hug them, but
they're
cute.
Yeah, don't kiss your grung.
I do like what they did with the stat blocks, though. They kind of took a lot of wording out that didn't, unnecessary wording.
Yeah, redundant.
Yes.
Yeah, they took a lot of the redundant stuff out.
They refined it a little bit better. So the
stat block are easier to read, make more sense, and they're not redundant.
Well,
not as redundant.
Yeah, and what else they did is a lot of these now don't, like you drow, we'll go with the drow or some other races.
Yep.
They used to always say evil. Now they say typically.
Typically, yeah.
And then what they may be, because they know, you know, for character story growth,
right?
You can be any alignment. So now it's
exactly.
I've never much cared for alignment anyway. I use alignment in my games as kind of like
punishment.
I never punish.
He re-educates.
Yeah. I use it as like parameters. Yeah, this is how like I behave most of the time.
Right. Yeah.
Tendencies.
Yeah, because
I tend to be.
Well, people normally don't play by alignment. They usually play by what the table's putting in front of them.
Yeah.
So if your table's typically going to play good, you're more likely going to be a good player
on the good side.
Yeah,
goodish.
Typically. But if everybody's playing, more on the evil side, you're going to be a little bit dickish.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
We won't talk about that right now.
I like that. I think it makes sense. In my game, there's some things that are just irredeemably evil.
Yes,
and that's the way it is. And some that are always good.
Yes,
to a fault.
To a fault. Yeah, lawful good. And the thing is, if you play a lawful good alignment well, sometimes you're as much of an asshole as a lawful evil character is.
I know it is when I play a paladin.
Yep.
There's lawful good doesn't mean that you're a great guy to be around. Sometimes you're
dickish,
the biggest asshole in the group. even more so than the, neutral evil rogue or the assassin.
I found a monster in here I do not like.
Which is?
The brain rat swarm.
I briefly read that, and I thought it was pretty cool, to be honest.
A swarm of rats with psionic power.
You were gonna
What
say it.
the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's the
They're
rats in there.
rats.
Yeah. This is
Rats.
So, see, I
Rats.
specifically asked for that, and so if you rate them people, they will listen.
Yeah.
I need this to piss off DM Bill. I read rat. Okay, rat. I went, what? Rat swarm. Okay, rat swarm.
I didn't write that,
Yes.
but that was my dream.
Guess
What-
what's
what
being
exactly-
in our actual play campaign next year? Yep. We'll see if they kill Bill's character.
I mean, all in all, they did do a good book. I just don't like
Yeah.
what they did to some of the races.
Yep.
But again, you don't have to use
Right.
everything like this. If you have the old
Exactly.
books, like if you have the Mordekaine's Tomophobes, Volo's Guide to Monsters, you have all the original stat
Yeah,
blocks.
you're just as viable there.
Yeah, because they are pretty much everything from here is from those two books and maybe one other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you already have them if you have those books.
Right. Which apparently we all do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now a couple of things that caught my eye that I really did like. They put all the playable races in the front
Yes.
instead of searching them through the book like all the others. They blended in alphabetical order some of the classes along with the monsters that are throughout the book.
That's nice.
I like that as well because it gives you this is a generic class that you can use as a foe because monster doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an aberration
Right.
or a monstrosity or or something like that.
It's an opponent.
It's an opponent. All right, so
Potentially.
they put them in there, which is very nice. The part I like probably the best is the index in the back. They broke down the list of monsters first, if I recall correctly. Let me flip it through.
I think you're right.
Yep, they broke it down by. Now I got to flip to the back because I want to get the order correct because someone's going to yell at me for not having it right. The monster list stat blocks by creature type. So you have your aberrations, your beasts, your celestials, constructs, elementals, fiends. So all your fiends are together, all your
That is
humanoids.
nice.
So even though it's not together in the book, you have a quick reference in the back. They break it down to monstrosities and oozes and undead and yada, yada, yada. Then they broke everything down by stat block, by challenge rating.
That's, yeah.
Wicked helpful.
Yep.
Wicked helpful. I mean, all the way up to like challenge
Very, very helpful.
26. From
For-
0 to,
Yeah, for DMs, it's
I
extremely
need something
helpful.
for my table, and I know I got to go with a challenge rating 3. What do I have? There it is, all listed.
Yep.
Bang. And then they do the stat blocks by environment. So you can break it down to that as well, and it lists by your CR and then your creatures. So you have a couple different ways to get to your
The
monsters.
best part of the book.
I
Hands
think
down.
I
the
think
best
that
part.
is the appendix is probably the best part of the book.
And it's funny, 30 years ago, I could give a shit less about the appendix. I don't even know what the appendix looked like in any of the other editions of D&D because I didn't have time to look at that. I wanted to flip through the book and read about all the monsters and everything. Now that I'm older, I appreciate a quality index.
Yeah.
And that's probably a sign that you're old. You like Lorna Doone shortbreads and a good, well set up index.
And a good cup of Earl Grey tea.
A nice guy. If it's good enough for Captain Picard, it's good enough for me.
Sweet, no cream.
Yes.
I like overall like the book.
Is it worth it?
I'd say yes.
That's debatable.
It's not part of. I see where you're going to
Yeah.
go.
If you
right?
have the Volos and
If you have all the other versions, then is it worth it? Probably not.
yeah.
But if you do not have all the other versions, or to Scott's point, if you want a quick reference to a bunch of monsters you are not likely, or I'm sorry, I should say opponents, you're not likely to use. There's a lot of very different ones. They did a nice job
They
of
did.
skimming through and get the least popular. Now, there's some of the most bugbears in there.
Yep.
All right, they have some, but there's an awful lot of stuff in here that I haven't seen in a while. It's like, whoa, I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen. So they did a pretty good job of kind of digging some stuff up. And I like the way it's set out. The stat blocks, as you mentioned, are much easier to read. The appendix in the back is worth gold. The fact that you put playable races in the front, I think the layout of the book altogether is good. And I'd say, thumbs up. I think it's worth it.
I do too. And I own all the books, but because it's a nice, easy book to find what I'm looking for, and they're all in there, it's well worth it for me as a DM.
For me, it's still debatable. And only because, like I said, it brings a lot of changes to the game. If you're not really prepared to use the creatures as is, because now it's no longer a casting ability. Now you just made some of your casters, some of their current spells, worthless. That's where it gets really hard to say.
Yeah,
I would definitely say it's worth it when I see more of what they're coming to put out, because I know there's more behind this book.
Yeah, and you can very easily see that they're leading in a direction.
Yep.
They're leading in a direction by the type things that are in there. So, and I just have to mimeograph the backside of one blank page in my book. After I rip out the page with the damn rats.
People are going to be like, "What the hell is a mimeograph?" You could probably go to a museum and see one.
Smithsonian.
It's
in the corner over there.
Yeah, it's what a copier machine used to be. But I think he used like toxic chemicals,
which smelled awesome.
Smelled awful and
awesome.
Awful.
I love the mimeograph high.
You like stale black licorice though. And everything was like in blue.
Yes.
And that was used by teachers back in the old days. And if you were lucky enough, you could run off your character sheets on the mimeograph. I had a lot of blue character sheets from the AD&D days.
I'm sorry. I need to scan and copy the backside of that. Much better? Okay. Lou's holding up cards so I can read them, so I can sound pertinent and know what I'm talking about.
Up to date.
Yeah, so I will scan and copy the backside of that page, and I'll put some other piece of artwork on the other because I can click and paste. He's holding up cards, and fill it so I won't have a blank page.
Copy and paste, but
click. Yeah, I was close. I should put my glasses on.
Yeah, Bill's got a bird that hammers images into stone for him.
Not his middle finger either. And that's Mordenkainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse. We'll see you next time in the dojo.
That's going to conclude this episode. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Please subscribe to the podcast for more great content. If you'd like to hear a particular topic, you can reach us on Facebook at the Dungeon Masters Dojo, or you can drop us an email at thedungeonmastersdojo@gmail.com. Thank you, and have a good day.